or they were asleep. Right, to finish our first panel, our round table, Manuel Madrid is going to talk about the winter and fall news in gvSIG. Some news. Yes, a lot of novelties coming.
Bueno, parece que la pantalla completa no quiere.
Right, what to have broader view.
Bueno, pues vamos con una presentación que no suele faltar en la.
Right, this is another classic in our conference news. What are we doing? What are we working on? As you know, version 2.0 is the latest version published, and as you know, it did not have some of the functionalities in previous versions because we did not have the time to migrate them. So that's what we're doing now. We're trying to migrate those functionalities onto version 2.1 because we want this newer version to include all those functionalities. Apart from the migration issue that I just mentioned, we shall add a few new functionalities. My presentation, I split it in two sections. First of all, I will speak about the functionalities post 2.0 because we now have a complement administrator. We don't have to, some of the functionalities were included already without releasing the latest version. As you can see, in fact, some functionalities have already been published and then they will be included in version 2.1. And then I will talk about the novelties in the version in 2.1. Right, first block. Graphics, or there's a new document called graphics. It includes 3 sections, but with this new document we can include it directly. And on the other hand, we have graphic captions with charts and bars, which were already included in branch 1.x. The new Grafica document has already been released. It allows us to produce charts based on sector layers. There are 3 possible graph types: bars, pie chart, and lines, as you can see on the screenshots. Another functionality which was already released, map functionalities. As you know, we can divide the area to be printed out into a number of consecutive maps. This is fairly useful when you do site work. And if you go to a site, you can take a paper document instead of taking a huge amount of drawings. This particular functionality allows you to identify overlapping areas, to individually align the sheets or rotate them based on the orientation of whichever cartographic phenomenon to be printed out. And it also allows you to configure the fields that will have different values in different drawings. You can see a street view, a map of the street map, which is a very common case. Theme maps, a plugin. This plugin comes from gvSIG Educa project, the application of one laptop per child project in Uruguay. Basically, it allows you to share views in a straightforward way. This project is actually a customized gvSIG project for primary education settings. It allows you to simplify views with a lot less buttons. You end up with just the graphic side, the map, basically, and the caption, of course, which is essential to understand the map. And with the complement or accessory handler you can upload different views and share them. We call them theme maps. Let me add that the appearance remains, the symbols, the icons are the same. You all know OpenStreetMap. It is a cartographic database worldwide made by volunteers. In actual fact, it is very fashionable now as an app. And a lot has been said recently about OSM with the Philippine hurricane, the hurricane on the Philippines, because a lot of people are now mapping the area to try and help NGOs. A number of initiatives have been launched worldwide as a result of the hurricane to go and map the area again. More particularly, this functionality allows you to add OpenStreetMap services. Some of them are preset, which you can see on the screen, but you can also add new services by inserting the corresponding URLs address. This new functionality was already included in version 2, thanks to the fact that we can support the tile management. Mosaics, tiles. Some more functionalities post 2.0. Symbol libraries. It is very easy to import symbols from files, and therefore we managed to release a lot of libraries, Google Street Map, forestry management, forest treatment, etc. All these symbols and icons, all these icon libraries have been made available to all users willing to have it on 2.0. Right, so far, we've seen the functionalities post 2.0. As I said, they will be included in version 2.12, but now I would like to talk about the very new functionalities on the current version. Georeferencing. I said earlier that a current work line is the migration of functionalities in the branch X1X. This is possibly one of the functionalities which you may have missed the most, the possibility of georeferencing images. The new interface is a lot more intuitive. It is better integrated into a single window. PostGIS 2.0 support, highly demanding functionality. It is totally new for raster and vectors. That's it, really. Well, it's a key function. More new functionalities, captions. Well, relatively new, because captions were already included in version 1 and 1X. Expressions, proportional symbols, graduated symbols, dot density, category, and amounts by category. All these captions will be included in version 2.1. Labels or tags. Tags were basic before. In former version, we now go back to advanced labeling, which allow us to label based on fields with new positions, include the geometry, up and down, overlapping management and handling. And it's worth noting two new functionalities, totally new functionalities, are halo or halo. You can choose the thickness and the color of the halo. Can you see on the top right-hand side. In this case, it is yellow, the shadowing, the halo. It is very useful, particularly with orthophotos maps. Orthophotos have a lot of color shades which prevent you from clearly see the labels. In this case, we have snow, so a white label could not be used over it. In the south, we have darker patches, so you couldn't use a black label, but with the halo, you can see it everything. You can see it all over. Another new functionality in labeling or related to labeling, we can set a functionality for geometries to be always configured, even if we don't see the geometrical center in our view. Let me explain. On the bottom half of the screen, we have a map of Europe. Spain and France have a central label right at the center of the polygon of both countries. If we were to zoom on Andorra, based on classical labeling, we would only see the label for Andorra. I don't know if you can see the picture clearly, but you would only see Andorra. But now, as you can see, we see the labels for France and Spain, the tags. This improves the browsing over the map quite a lot. And more symbol libraries for street maps, defense purposes. Well, in this respect, work is never ending. Symbol libraries are never ending. In fact, you as users can extend it in the way you may wish. But we will provide you with some default symbologies in our new version. Now, on the graphic side too, as I said before, we had the Grafica document and the ability to include the graph into a map. As you can see on the right-hand side, we have a map with Valencia's districts, and on the bottom part, we can add a bar chart. And similarly, we will include captions for pie charts and bar charts, which were excluded in version 2.0. Some more novelties. Smaller ones, though. KML export. A few improvements. When exporting, you will be able to drag behind you a type of balloon, including information on geometry for Zaragoza in this case, plus the labels. The labels and the balloons will be dragged along, and then you will be able to view it. And reprojection will be forced for Google's reference system. Raster improvements, more functionalities, new functionalities, existing functionalities from 1.x, which are now migrated into the new version. And we also have a relocation of menus. Menus have been relocated and geoprocesses have been moved to the geoprocess handler. Right, new functionalities. Projection allocation. In this case, the layer is allocated the projection in the view, changing the type of datum from decimal to whole numbers, or this allows you to round up figures, main components, to eliminate redundant information, creation of multi-file layers, and a new functionality to convert to the grayscale. More functionalities, CSV support. Well, all these functionalities were dropped in version 2, but they are back in version 2.1. SLD, import, export, SLD caption, import and export to paste and copy geometries between layers, and more functionalities. Advanced dissolve geoprocess. This process is different. We will include both the classic and the advanced one, but in this case, when you generate the departure layer, you can catch some data from the original layer for them to be processed as attributes. Another functionality is inserting layout tables or in certain tables of attributes. GeoProcess library, our own GeoProcess library, as from version 2, based on Sexante's library, we have managed to include more GeoProcesses. Printing improvement, basically related to production and yield. raster scripting support. It was formerly vector-based, so we will now have scripting support and a new design of the info by point tool. In version 2.0, this tool was already new, and in 2.1 it has been redesigned. Lastly, I would like to describe some coming changes to you. We are working on having distribution for Macintosh. In this respect, raster libraries changes have taken place. We're also trying to achieve a portable distribution, as this could be highly interesting for corporate settings where it is not easy for users to do their own installations due to systems controls in the companies, or if you don't want to take your laptop with you. The license has shifted to version 3 GPL for the whole source, for the whole code. We will have a new script repository. You see a small screenshot at the bottom, gvSIG Outreach, where we will upload different scripts for you to incorporate them into your projects. And we are also working on OS Geo incubators. You will hear about this in the afternoon in a talk, in a lecture. But basically, we are reviewing the code and its origins. We want to have it all documented, and together with other processes such as testing processes or participation processes at development level. OS Geo have asked us to do so, and we are now coming to the very last measures and steps for us to become a proper OS Geo project. We are now being incubated. And apart from all these functionalities, another working line has to do with bug correction. We want version 2.1 to have the very best of 2.1x, but we also wanted to have the very best of branch 2 concerning stability and modularity. Thank you.
Gracias, Manuel.
Thank you, Manuel.
¿Hay alguna pregunta
Are
para
there
toda esta
any questions?
fashion Day de gvSIG. ¿Alguna
about
pregunta? ¿Alguien quiere
all
que
this
Manuel le cuente si le van
gvSIG
a arreglar su problema
stuff,
o no?
or do you want to ask Manuel if you're going to be solved your problems?
Pues como no hay preguntas,
No questions then?
damos por concluida la mesa
Okay,
redonda.
so
Ahora
our
hay unos cafés.
roundtable has
Quiero que
come
sepáis
to
que
an end.
estamos en crisis.
It's coffee
Por lo tanto,
time.
hemos puesto unas aportaciones
We,
voluntarias
as you know,
del tipo alemán.
we are
5
in a
euros
big
el
crisis
café y
in
los
Spain, so
croissants y 10 euros
5 euros
el
for
zumo
coffee
y
and
el agua,
croissants, 10
porque estamos en
euros
Valencia y hay que
for
apoyar la agricultura
orange
valenciana.
juice and water, because we want
Gracias
to
por vuestra
continue
asistencia.
having orange groves in Valencia. Thank you.